The call came at 6:47 a.m. on a Tuesday. I know the exact time because I was staring at my phone, debating whether to answer. Marcus. My mother's voice was tight, controlled, dangerous. You need to cancel your housewarming party. Today. Just like that. No hello. No congratulations on finally buying my first home at 31. Just a demand that would unravel 26 years of carefully buried resentment. Before we dive into this mess, hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell. Trust me, you're going to want to hear how this family drama explodes. Let me paint you a picture of my family. The Hendersons of suburban Phoenix, Arizona. On paper, we looked perfect. Dad's a successful insurance broker. Mom's a part-time real estate agent with manicured nails and a smile that could sell ice to penguins. Two sons, me, Marcus, the reliable older brother, and Danny, 29, the golden child who could do no wrong. The thing about golden children? They cast long, cold shadows. I learned this when I was 8 years old. My birthday party, the one I'd been planning for months, complete with a superhero theme and invitations I'd hand-drawn myself, got canceled. Marcus, honey, Mom explained, straightening Danny's tiny bow tie. We need to focus on Danny's piano recital. You understand, right? Birthdays happen every year, but this is special. Danny was 6. He played Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star with 3 wrong notes and got a standing ovation from our entire extended family. I got a hastily purchased action figure from the drugstore and a promise that we'd do something special next weekend. We never did. Fast forward 23 years, and here I was, finally having my moment. I just closed on a beautiful 3-bedroom Craftsman in Tempe. Nothing fancy, but it was mine. Every mortgage payment, every sacrifice, every weekend spent working overtime instead of going out. It all led to this house. My house. I'd sent the housewarming invitations 3 weeks ago. Barbecue, pool party, celebration of a dream I'd worked towards since college. The date? Saturday, June 15th. My friends were excited, my girlfriend Sarah was already planning decorations, and for once, just once, I was going to be the center of attention in my own family. Until that Tuesday morning phone call. Cancel it, Marcus. Danny's graduating from his coding bootcamp, and we're throwing him a celebration. Same day. The audacity hit me like a physical blow. Mom, you've known about my party for 3 weeks. Well, we just decided on Danny's celebration yesterday. You know how these things go, family has to stick together. One of you needs to reschedule. One of us. Not him. Me. Danny, my brother, the 29-year-old who'd just finished his 3rd career change. First it was art school. 2 years and $30,000 later, he decided he wasn't feeling the creative energy. Then it was the food truck business that folded after 6 months when he got bored of waking up early. Now coding, a 6-month boot camp that Mom treated like he'd just earned a PhD from Harvard. Meanwhile, I'd been working steadily since I was 16, put myself through college, climbed the corporate ladder at a marketing firm, saved every penny for this house, and here I was, being asked to move aside. Again. Mom, I'm not canceling. The invitations are already out. The silence stretched like a rubber band about to snap. Marcus Allen Henderson. Full name. Here we go. I'm disappointed in you. After everything we've done for you, you can't support your brother for 1 day. Everything they'd done for me? Like paying for Danny's art supplies while I worked 2 jobs to pay for my textbooks? Like missing my college graduation because Danny had a stomach flu? Like giving him the family car when he turned 16 while I rode the bus until I could buy my own piece of junk Honda? The answer is no, Mom. Danny can have his party any other weekend. Well, her voice went ice cold. I guess we'll just have to see what the family thinks about your selfishness. She hung up. I should have known it wouldn't end there. The Hendersons don't do direct conflict. We do passive-aggressive warfare with surgical precision. By Wednesday, my phone was buzzing with confused texts from cousins and aunts. Hey Marcus, what's this about 2 parties on the same day? Your mom says you're being difficult? Danny's really hurt that you won't support him. The narrative was already being written, and I wasn't the hero. But here's what they didn't expect. I'd learned their game. 26 years of being the forgotten son teaches you a few things about family politics. I started making calls. Not to complain, not to play victim. Just to tell the truth. Uncle Pete? Yeah, it's Marcus. Listen, I know there's some confusion about this weekend. Here's what actually happened. The truth is a powerful thing when you've been living in someone else's fiction for decades. Uncle Pete, my mom's brother, listened to my whole story and then said something I'll never forget. Marcus, I've been watching this bullshit for years. You deserves better. One by one, the family started choosing sides. Not because I asked them to, but because they'd been watching too. Watching Danny get celebrated for mediocrity while I achieved actual milestones in silence. Watching my parents excuse his failures while holding me to impossible standards. My cousin Jessica put it perfectly. Dude, remember when Danny wrecked his car junior year, and your parents bought him a new one? And when you made Dean's list, they were like, "That's nice, honey, what's for dinner?" Saturday arrived like a storm you see coming but can't avoid. I woke up at 6 a.m., not because I had to, but because I couldn't sleep. Today was the day I'd been working toward for years, and it felt hollow. Not because of the house, God, I loved that house, but because I realized I'd been seeking approval from people who were never going to give it. Sarah found me sitting on our back patio, coffee growing cold in my hands. "Hey," she said, settling beside me. "You okay?" "I think I'm finally understanding something I should have figured out years ago." "What's that?" "I've been trying to win a game where the rules change every time I get close to winning." She took my hand. "So what do you want to do?" I looked at my house, my beautiful, perfectly imperfect house with its squeaky front gate, and the paint I'd chosen myself and the mortgage that scared and thrilled me in equal measure. "I want to celebrate this house with people who actually want to be here." The party started at 2 p.m. By 2:30, my backyard was full of laughter, music, and people who genuinely cared about my achievement. Friends from work, college buddies, neighbors who'd helped me move boxes, and family. The family that mattered. Uncle Pete showed up with his famous potato salad and a bottle of expensive whiskey. "For your new bar cart," he said with a wink. Cousin Jessica brought her kids, who immediately claimed the pool as their personal domain. Even my elderly neighbor, Mrs. Rodriguez, hobbled over with homemade tamales and stories about the house's previous owners. But the moment that broke me open, when my buddy Mike, who I'd known since freshman year of college, pulled me aside. "Marcus, man, I've been to a lot of housewarming parties. But this feels different. You can see how proud you are. How hard you worked for this. It's inspiring, bro." I excused myself and went inside to the bathroom. Looked at myself in the mirror in MY bathroom, in MY house, and cried. Not from sadness, but from relief. The kind of cathartic sobbing that comes when you finally stop carrying weight you never should have picked up in the first place. Around 5 p.m., my phone buzzed. Text from my mother. "Hope you're happy. Danny's party was ruined. Barely anyone showed up." I stared at that message for a long time, waiting for the guilt to hit, the familiar tug of family obligation. It never came. Instead, I felt free. I typed back, "I'm sorry Danny's disappointed. My party is wonderful. Thanks for asking." Then I turned off my phone and went back to my celebration. The real fireworks started Sunday morning. I was making pancakes for Sarah in MY kitchen with MY fancy new griddle when the doorbell rang. Through the peephole I could see them, Mom, Dad, and Danny, arranged like a delegation of doom. "We need to talk," Dad said when I opened the door. They pushed past me into my living room, and I felt that familiar shrinking sensation. The one that made me feel 12 years old and in trouble for something I didn't understand. But then I looked around. At my furniture, my books, my choice of paint colors. My house. My rules. "Okay," I said, not offering them seats. "Talk." Mom launched into it immediately. How I'd embarrassed the family. How Danny was devastated. How I'd always been jealous of his success. Success. The word slipped out before I could stop it. "Mom, he's 29 and just finished a 6-month coding course. I bought a house. Don't you dare minimize your brother's achievements. That's when something inside me snapped. Not broke, snapped. Like a rubber band that had been stretched for 26 years finally reaching its limit. His achievements? I made Dean's List every semester in college and you missed my graduation for his hangover. I got promoted to senior account manager and you asked if I'd finally be able to help Danny with his rent. I bought my first house, and you want me to cancel my celebration so we can all pretend his bootcamp graduation is equivalent to a master's degree. The silence was deafening. Danny, who'd been standing there like a sulking teenager, finally spoke up. You've always resented me. Danny, I don't resent you. Pity you. You're 29 years old and you've never had to work for anything real because mom and dad have convinced you that showing up is the same as succeeding. You know what's going to happen when you get to the real world and realize that your participation trophy mentality doesn't pay the bills. Dad stepped forward. Marcus, that's enough. No, Dad. It's not enough. It's actually not nearly enough. For 26 years, I've watched you two bend over backward to accommodate Danny's every failure while treating my actual successes like they're expected and boring. I'm done pretending that's normal. Mom's face went pale, then red. We sacrificed for both of you boys equally. That's when I started laughing. Not happy laughter. The kind that sounds a little unhinged because the alternative is screaming. Equally? Mom, you spent $5,000 on Danny's art supplies for a career he quit after 2 years. When I asked for help with textbooks, you told me student loans build character. You gave him the family car and made me ride the bus. You threw him a graduation party for high school while I was already working full-time and putting myself through college. That's not how it happened. That's exactly how it happened. And you know what the saddest part is? I kept thinking if I just worked harder, achieved more, proved myself enough, you'd finally see me. Really see me. But you can't. Because that would mean admitting you've been failing me my entire life. The room went quiet except for the sound of Sarah's footsteps as she appeared in the doorway, coffee mug in hand. She took one look at the scene and said very calmly, I think you all need to leave now. Mom turned on her like a rattlesnake. This doesn't concern you, Sarah. Actually, it does. This is our house, and you're upsetting my boyfriend. So I'm asking you nicely to leave. We're his family. Sarah looked at me, then back at my parents. Family doesn't treat people the way you treat Marcus. Family shows up when it matters. Family celebrates your wins instead of minimizing them. You're not his family, you're his obligation. I'd never loved her more than in that moment. They left. Danny slammed my door so hard a picture fell off the wall. The next few months were complicated. There were angry voicemails, guilt-tripping text messages, and flying monkeys. Family members recruited to tell me I was tearing the family apart. But there were also Sunday dinners with Uncle Pete's family, game nights with my cousins, a Thanksgiving where people actually asked about my job, my house, my life, instead of spending the entire meal celebrating Danny's latest mediocre achievement. And slowly, something amazing happened. I stopped feeling like I was performing my life for an audience that would never applaud. I started making decisions based on what I wanted, not what might finally earn their approval. I got a promotion at work because I went after it instead of waiting to be noticed. Sarah and I started talking about marriage because we wanted to, not because anyone else expected it. Look, I'm not going to lie and say it doesn't hurt sometimes. When I see families that actually support each other, celebrate each other equally, I feel that old familiar ache. The grief for something I never had and never will have. But here's what I learned. You can't force people to see your worth. You can't achieve your way into unconditional love. And you can't set yourself on fire to keep someone else warm, even if that's someone else's family. Last week, I got a text from Danny. First communication in 8 months. Hey Marcus, I know we haven't talked, but I wanted you to know I got laid off from the coding job. Mom and Dad are letting me move back home while I figure out my next step. I've been thinking about what you said about participation trophies and the real world. Maybe you had a point. I stared at that text for a long time. Part of me wanted to gloat. Part of me wanted to rescue him, fall back into old patterns. Instead, I wrote back, I'm sorry to hear about the job, Danny. That's rough. I hope you figure out what you want to do next. Simple, kind, honest, with boundaries. He never responded, and that's okay. Because here's the thing about golden children and their shadows. Sometimes the best thing you can do is step out of the shadow and into your own light. Even if it means walking away from the people who could never see you shining in the first place. 3 weeks ago, Sarah and I got engaged. I posted the news on social media, sent a text to the family members who matter, and celebrated with people who genuinely love us. My parents didn't call to congratulate us. Danny didn't either. And for the first time in my life, their silence felt like freedom instead of failure. If you're listening to this and recognizing parts of your own story, the golden child sibling, the parents who can't see past their favorite, the feeling of never being enough no matter what you achieve, I want you to know something. You're not crazy. You're not imagining it. And you're not obligated to keep playing a game you can never win. Sometimes the family you choose is more important than the family you're born into. Sometimes love means walking away. And sometimes the best thing you can do is build your own life. With your own rules, surrounded by people who see you for who you really are. Drop a comment below if you've dealt with golden child syndrome in your own family. Share your story, you never know who might need to hear it. And if this resonated with you, hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell. Your support means everything to this channel. Until next time, remember, you deserve to be celebrated, not tolerated.